Obviously, the big question everybody wants to know is what will be the outcome of Super Bowl 59? So make sure you read that and listen to this pod to figure out and get your answer to that question. I just want to throw a couple of things out here in terms of the game. There's so much groupthink around the Super Bowl, and you hear kind of the same things over and over again about, oh, it'll be high scoring. If the Eagles win, Saquon will win the MVP. If the Chiefs win it, it'll be Mahomes. It's kind of the same things over and over again. And I'm just kind of throw some other things out there here, just to think about when we're breaking down the game. And the first thing I just want to say is, are we maybe overrating the Eagles just a little bit based on recency bias? Because if you dive in to what they've done in the playoffs, they beat the 7 seed on their home field in the first round in a game that they really weren't great offensively. Second round, you beat a warm weather indoor West Coast dome team in a blizzard in a game that you nearly blew. You had one and you nearly blew the game. And then you beat Washington, a team who defensively they were beat up and terrible. It was a great matchup for Philly at home. And they were what, the 6 seed. So you beat the 6 seed, the 7 seed, and a warm weather indoor dome team and now they're being picked by a lot of people to win this game and go up and down the field on the Chiefs. Will, am I crazy? Am I just digging here for an angle that really doesn't exist?
Oh, I think you're crazy, but I don't think you're crazy because of this. I think this is you bring up some good points. I think the word overrated is strong because I just look at the team and man, it's a really good roster. Offensive line, running back, receiver. When Hurts is on his game, man, he gets a lot of crap, but he's a top 10-ish quarterback. They've got a really good defense. I think a much better defense for anyone that wants to compare the game 2 years ago when these two teams met in the Super Bowl. Their defense is much better. That team 2 years ago was really just a product of the schedule. This defense, I think, is legit. With Fangio, I think it makes him better. But again, your point is well taken. And I'll go a step further. Not only did they get a break in terms of the schedule, no, Green Bay was maybe better than their seed, but you read off the seeds, it's not as impressive. That being said, again, take it a step further, +4 in turnovers against Green Bay, and you start the game with the gift of all gifts, where somehow they give the ball to Philly out of a scrum, and right off the bat, you're kicking off, and you end up at the ball first play from scrimmage at the +25 or whatever. Complete gift, again, +4 in turnovers. You're only up by a point against the Rams. The Rams have the ball fourth quarter. They fumble in the snow. You kick a field goal. They fumble again in the snow. You kick another field goal. So those 2 turnovers, again, +2 in turnovers there, really untimely in their own territory. And then Washington, I know the game got away from Washington, but Philly was +4 in turnovers there. So they've created 10 turnovers. They have not turned the ball over once. So if that normalizes a little bit, I like Kansas City here, but if that normalizes a little bit, that's another reason to pick the Chiefs aside from the default lazy. I don't want to pick against Mahomes. There is some turnover stuff here, Jeff, that would lead you to Kansas City and to take it even one step further. People that think they had the right side with the Bills against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, there were 5 fumbles in that game, and the Bills recovered all 5. Yeah. So that game could have easily been even more lopsided, and Kansas City ended the game taking a knee basically in the red zone. So some turnover stuff points to Kansas City here, I guess would be my point.
Yeah, and I guess to echo that point, Will, one of the things which Jeff and I have talked about, and Jeff, I'll just ask you again now, you've heard the question before, are we properly valuing playoff Kansas City? Have we been able to put a number or a value on that to just say, it's almost like it's kind of like the NBA where you need just throw out the regular season, none of it matters. What the Chiefs did in the regular season, Jeff, kind of none of it matters because playoff Kansas City is so good. Do people understand how good playoff Kansas City is?
Remember when the Chiefs couldn't score over 30 points, and then in the most important game of the season, they scored 32 points, and Will mentioned they end the game in the red zone. They could have had over 32 points. Look, it's very hard because the NFL is not supposed to work like this, right? It's not supposed to work where you basically just decide in December, you know what, let's play better football now. And the Chiefs, though, have done it for many years now, where they just do enough in the regular season. That's why I don't buy the idea that these close games they keep winning are a product of them being less than, right? Instead of being, they had 3 straight weeks where they were up double digits in the third quarter and then just sort of stopped trying hard and won those games close. They're not coming from behind to win a lot of these games. And then in the postseason, they just make, and here's the thing, guys, this is the most important part that's hard to quantify, right, Bear? There's no number for this, is in these big moments, they make all the big plays. And a lot of times on offense, they sort of just bide their time. Okay, you want to give us 7 yards, Philly? We'll take 7 yards. You want to give us 5 yards? We'll take 5 yards. Oops, you blew a coverage, 25-yard pass. Like, the Chiefs do that better than anyone else. Oh, you want to have a condensed formation on 4th and 5? We'll bring the corner. Like, they win these big moments. I'm not saying Philly can't do that, but there's no DVOA, there's no EPA for winning big moments, right, Bear? Like, nothing you can quantify and say this is exactly how it's going to happen. But this is so abnormal for the NFL. That's why I think it's hard for a lot of us just to find a way to sum up what the Chiefs are doing.
Will, you had an interesting comment. I think it was on a numbers game with Gil Alexander earlier in the week about how making a comparison to the Chiefs, like playoff Chiefs. And one of the reasons why they're so hard is because all of the different players that you look at the players that have scored touchdowns in the Super Bowl for them, it's ridiculous. But you had an interesting parallel to another very successful team. Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.